joined Ignite, that's when we started working on my vision about who do I want to become internally from the inside out. And I think that was life changing for me because that gave me help.
Three. Welcome in, guys, to this Ignite Podcast 101. I am stoked to be here, and I'm excited to be here too. And I want to introduce you guys to Waliid. Here he is. Welcome, Waliid. How you doing, my friend?
Yes, I'm good, man. I'm always good. It's always good to talk to you, bro. It's always amazing to touch back base with you. And I can't complain. Everything is going perfect at the moment. Can't complain.
100%, brother. And just so you guys know, introducing Waliid, I've known him for, I think now, 16 years, going on 16 years. Incredible stuff, maybe 17. We met with me doing youth work and coaching, and very quickly became good friends. And we shared passions in the fitness industry. We shared passions in sport. And we live very in close proximity. So we get to do a lot of things together, such as touch and soccer and working out and stuff like that. But what memories do you have of us in the early days?
Man, it's all positive memories, bro. It really is because you were always a positive influence in our life, and you always push us to be better. So we always played sport. We always learned so much from you, and it does take me back back in New Zealand in Christchurch, where we were actually, when you said touch, I remember those days, and even the youth work days and Catch Me High School days, and it truly does take me back. It's been what, 16 years? I think since 2004. That's amazing. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And by the way, if you're wondering what I'm wearing here, this is called an ice vest. We're just getting our colds in, but we can figure that at another time. But man, I want to just fill you in on this guy Waliid because, mate, he was a young man I saw with so much potential. Yet, school wasn't really doing it for him. He had a lot of influence, but yet could be influenced quite strongly by different forces as well. So he had some big decisions to make, and he had so much potential, but he was sort of being dragged in about 50 different directions. And I noticed his potential was being kind of like watered out because he just didn't have the direction and the focus of what he wanted to do. And that's kind of where we kind of connected with Ignite. And later on, I'll probably explain a lot more about what Ignite is and stuff. But for now, so we started with the foundation, and this is in the questions I want to ask Waliid. And foundation, so is like the 12 skills for life, how to sort of use your circle of control, how to start asking yourself the right questions, how to not get worried about things you can't control. So I want to take you back to that foundational course, Waliid, sort of around the 7 habits. What was the stuff that really helped you with that whole aspect?
Man, I think the biggest thing that helped me was literally creating a vision at the start, because when I lived back then, I was influenced, like you said, by 50 other things, and it was all external things, and I was getting led down the wrong path, hanging out with the wrong people, at that young age, even going to parties and stuff like that. I did know that I didn't belong there, but I didn't know any better. And then when I met you and we started hanging out, and then I joined Ignite, that's when we started working on my vision about who do I want to become internally from the inside out. And I think that was life changing for me because that gave me help. That gave me help that, okay, maybe 5 years from now, I don't have to be in my current situation anymore. And I think that lit me up. That literally put fire under my seat and it made me feel, wow, like, if I can be this in 5 years, then I can be something else in 10 years. And that really, really gave me hope. But the way I thought about life before I even joined Ignite, I thought, this is my current job, this is how much I earn, and nothing I can do about it because my parents don't have money, my family doesn't have money. I'm 16, 17 years old, or even at the year between 18 to my 20s. I thought, I got to do what I got to do, and that's it. And after tapping in with you, man, and showing me the help and the possibilities, what actually can be achieved, and just by believing in yourself, and man, I can't stress enough the word believing in yourself, because that was just the turning point for me, 100%.
That's so incredible. And if I could share my screen right now, I would share one of the pictures. Dreams of Ignite was imagining someone's in this dark hallway and there's no light. And one of the things that ignites purpose is to help someone shine light on all the possible doors that are just along the hallway they're going, but they can't see it. And if that's all you know is the hallway, that dark hallway at 16, you thought, I've got to pay the bills, I've got I've got to provide for the family. That's all you knew. You're going to be locked in there for eternity. But then, and so many people they get locked in there for a lifetime. They literally do. And they just believe there's no other way. But what I'm so grateful to you is when we turn the light on, you had the willingness to try a door. You open the door and you step through it. And that's it, is to educate people with life-transforming insights so they can change their life. And so that's one of the keys of Ignite, which I love. So let's dive down there, because you've touched on vision, which was powerful, and you've sort of touched on the career. Now, I know we did the career course together, and I still remember to this day saying exactly what you'd be doing and where you'd be doing it, and what your role would be as a personal trainer. This was literally like 15, maybe 14 years ago, guys, of when he was literally writing this out. And I remember this verbatim to the day, what he was saying. And he was so juiced about it, yet there were so many weeds in his life that he hadn't yet weeded out or known to, but the vision was there. So tell me about that course, the career course, and how it just helped you tap into what you wanted to do. And then how did it create that for you?
Man, to this day, actually, to this day, it's still unbelievable for me because I didn't realize I was living the vision that I had set out 5 years ago until we had chatted again. And actually a lot longer than 5 years ago. And at that time, I knew I wanted to be a personal trainer. I knew I wanted to be a fitness coach, and I knew I wanted to be in Australia. We had written a vision about it, written goals about it, and I went on work for it. And I studied personal training. I studied nutrition. I graduated from both of those things, and then went along to do more training, etc. And then, like you said, I hadn't weeded out a lot of the things out of my life, so that dragged me out a little bit. And I was sidetracked. I took on another 2 different careers that I went on. One of them I was quite successful at. I went to real estate. I've done that for a little bit. But then there was a voice in my head, which I know it was the vision that we created, was always calling me back. And it always told me, that's what you love. You need to go back to that. You know what I mean? Because I knew I loved sport. I knew I loved being in the gym. And if I wasn't healthy, I wasn't training, I wasn't myself. I just simply wasn't. And so I made a decision about 2 years ago, or just over 2 years ago. I flew over to Thailand for 6 weeks. I resetted myself, flew into Australia, and meet amazing people. This was the hardest decision I made. And from one thing to another, within a few months, I had an online fitness coaching business that was already doing well. Okay. So we went from till today, where we're at now. I got amazing clients. I'm living the life that I had set up all that time ago. And it's unreal. It's surreal, because I actually didn't realize I was living the vision I had set out. And here we are. Like, it's unreal.
Bro, I actually have goosebumps as you share that story. That's so powerful, my bro. And I just have a sense that your story is going to touch so many people, in the sense that part of the mission of Ignite is to set people free so they can live out their purpose, and to first release their spirit so they can become one with themselves, and then actually do what they're called to do what they're put on earth to do. And your story is incredible, because you had the faith and the boldness to rise above your reptilian brain, which is the brain that tries to keep you living out of fear, living to pay bills a week. The fact that you overrode that, you listened to that deeper voice, you listened to your spirit, and you were able to just like pretty much follow your nexus. I just really believe that's going to inspire so many people to do the same. So I just literally have to tell you, I have goosebumps as you were sharing that story. That is incredible. Which leads me to a question I want to ask you to really help our listeners understand what was going through. But what was your lowest moment during this period, and what got you out of that? What helped you rise out of that? But maybe share a bit around your lowest moment, maybe leaving your girlfriend or whatever it was. How did you rise out of that?
My lowest moment. I think my lowest moment definitely was the part where I did leave my partner at the time, and I left her and I went on, and I got to a stage where I was actually drinking. I was taking drugs. I was in a low place in my life. I had no sense of direction. I was just in pain. But while I was going through that, I always got a sense to take action. Like, there's always a voice in my head telling me, look, you're better than that. You got to do this. But there's 2 different things about thinking about something and taking action towards it. If there was one thing I learned, like you need to take actions when you're on, even in your lowest points in your life. And so I went on, started taking action just to be a little bit better every day, drink a little bit less on the weekends, avoid certain people. And then I realized that something that he had taught me as well, you will just simply become who you surround yourself with. I know everyone hears about this quote that might repeat it, they hear it repeat in Instagram or wherever, but it is so true and it is so powerful. I can't stress enough. Like, you are who you surround yourself with. And when I started weeding out the people that were influencing me to do those things, invited me to do those things when they were no longer in my life, certain people started coming into my life. I didn't look for them. I didn't invite them to come in. They simply came just because I was thinking about what changes I wanted to bring in my life. A fitness coach came into my life. A business coach came into my life. These people are still in my life right now. We're working together. We're growing every single day. And I think the hardest thing is when people are going through adversity, they don't see help around them. They don't see help around them, so they give up and they carry on doing what they're doing. So I would say the best thing you can do is weed out the people around you that are influencing you. And then even if you have to spend a little bit of time by yourself, the right people will come in. They always do. And I feel like every time I've gone through adversity, I've used that simple strategy of weeding out the wrong people out of my life, spending a little bit of time alone by myself, and then the right people simply walk in your life.
Amazing, man. It's so true. Sometimes it's not about doing more and harder. It's about removing the stuff that detracts, and by default you will attract the right things. And I'm reminded of the body. People focus on just like, if you're a guy, building lots of testosterone, but sometimes when you do that, you're actually increasing estrogen at the same time. So a lot of it's just about removing the things that create more estrogen, and then you have the strength as if you were fully testosteroned up. So it's the same idea of what you're saying. Remove the stuff that negates, and by default you can grow.
Yeah, 100%.
Which I love, man. Well, I mean, you have such an incredibly powerful story of your ups and your downs, your highs and your lows, and how you held on to that vision that I feel like has been put in your heart for a reason. It's like you've been called and destined to help people in this area, and it's so effortless for you, I feel. And I want to ask you this question. How did you get to where you are? Like, I know you've touched on a bit, but was there anything more that you want to really unpack there?
And to be honest, I thought about this a lot. There was a lot of things in my life that I wanted to do, as everyone else does. But some of them come in and they leave, and that'll be the end of them. But there was only one thing that stuck out throughout my whole life till now, is to do what I'm doing right now. Okay, to help people. To help people through fitness to change their life and change their mindset that they can be more, and they deserve to sort of fulfill themselves with health, right? So I think throughout my whole life, I think the reason why it stuck up with me so far, I think it's because how deep we got in our training. Okay, I think it's because how deep we got in our training. The seed was implanted in me so hard in there that throughout all these years, all these adversities and everything that's happened, it was with me. It was like the light. It was like every time something was bad is happening in my life, like that was the light pointing this way and going, if you just go this way, your life will be better. And it was that seed that we planted, about what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? Who do you want to become? But it wasn't just questions to me. I think, oh man, I remember I used to envision it so hard that I'd have tears coming down my eyes just because the vision I was looking at. And that was powerful because you can envision something and you come out of it and you feel good. But when you mix powerful emotion into it, you're in a whole different level now. You're playing with a different ball game. You're no longer riding a helicopter. You're in a spaceship and you're flying through it, right? So I think I think I've had about a year where I was just envisioning that vision and I was mixing emotion into it. And I remember clearly being on my knees inside of my bed, envisioning this vision of becoming a trainer and changing people's life and just impacting them in a different way and being here in Australia. And I remember I used to envision so much detail that sometimes tears come down my eye, you know what I mean? Like knowing that I can help my mom and help my brothers and help close friends and it's just surreal, man. It's exactly
Honestly,
what we
I'm continually getting goosebumps, and I assure you guys, it's not just because of the ice pack. Like, I literally am getting goosebumps because of what we're encountering here, and what I'm realizing, the depth of what's happened to you and the conviction it's held you in is so powerful. And I love to ask this question, when people envision, is if you had unlimited wealth to give away to anything you want to do good in the world, what would you give to? And I love that question because it releases that heart of generosity in us, and it makes us think it's possible, and it inspires us to another angle, from philanthropy angle, of how good would it be to be financially well off to the point where I could just give to things that I love. And so
Yeah,
it's not necessarily about having the money, it's having the desire, and the desire will trigger ways to get that. And that's what I love about you. It's never just been about you, it's been about your family, your friends, your future, being the godfather, making a difference. Your vision is not just your limit, it's creating the next level for many others, which life comes to support that. And that's my experience, is when you have a vision that's bigger than just your own vision for your own needs, and you have a vision then that umbrellas all these others, then suddenly your vision grows and your resources expand and things come to you at a whole new
yeah,
level of what you're experiencing, which is amazing, man.
yeah. Couldn't
Um,
agree more.
so I want to touch on this question, and this is a fascinating one. So I'll be fascinating to hear this from you. And I know you went through a time where only you could see your vision. So only you had faith for it. You created it so strong in your heart that you believed it. Tell me, what were people saying to you when they saw you doing, in their eyes, crazy stuff? You were turning away from a well-paying career, a good place in New Zealand, a girlfriend. I mean, you had so much potentially they were seeing you just losing out on. What were people saying, and what impact did that have on you, and how strong was your vision through that period in those early stages?
And you can tell when someone believes in you, and then someone that just agrees with you because they love you. And most of the people that I knew were just agreeing with me because they love me, and I could see that. I could see that, and it's not easy. And your self talk has to be you have to work on that. If your self talk tells you constantly, "Oh, maybe they're right. I got to give up. I got to walk back," your self talk is got to be like, "No, I got this. I can do this. I got to push through this. I believe in myself." Like, and those are the things that you got to work on, because it can be a lonely journey sometimes, right? So, but you just got to be willing to cross the bridge so you can help others come across. And one of the biggest mistakes I made in the past, when I'm not necessarily thinking of it as a mistake, but it changed the direction of my life a lot. And it was this: when I started my first business after working with you, I started doing really well in some months. Some months were six-figure months. Some months were high 70 grand, high 80 grand. I never earned money like this, right? And these were monthly incomes sometimes. And seriously, what I tried to do is I tried to get everyone that needed help, and I carried them on my shoulders, and I tried to walk across this journey. What I learned now is that you need to grow so much and go through your journey to reach the destination, and then being able to reach back and help people across and teach them, because that's the biggest thing you can do. When you planted the seed in me and taught me, that's the biggest gift. Okay, that's the biggest gift you can give someone. I can give you $1 million, but you'll be back probably in 1 year saying, I don't have any more money. But if I teach you how to make $1 million, then you're gonna be free. You can make
Wow.
multiple of that, right?
Yes.
So when you taught me how to do something, I went and done it and tried to just carry everyone
Right.
on my shoulders, and sort of what I learned. But what I should have done, which I'm doing now, is I'm learning and I'm teaching others how to do it. And that's what gives me the drive to get through everything, right? So I think to myself, if I teach 100 people change their life, surely they're going to teach someone else, right?
I love that. I love what you're saying, because I noticed that in you. I mean, you're such a big heart, so you just wanted to be the change agent, but you thought by the change agent wasn't giving them what you were taught. It was actually helping you with the success you had got. And so they were just feeding off you, leeching off their money. Wasn't really their fault, wasn't, but you were enabling their behavior. So they thought, well, if I keep getting something free, I'm just going to keep sponging off the sky, but not
Yeah.
realizing the greatest gift you can give them was to teach themselves. Because, and this is a question I want to ask, when you started to succeed, knowing that you could do this purely on your vision, purely on your faith, and purely knowing that you had the power of the earth in your hands to literally guide and shape your destiny, how did you start feeling as just a human being, knowing that this was actually in your hands? You literally created your reality from your vision. What beliefs did that instill in you?
I felt no longer stuck. I didn't feel like I needed to do just one thing. We're an emotional human beings. We strive on emotion, things that make us feel good. And when I knew what was possible and what I can achieve, and that was it. Like when I finished school, I thought that was it for me because I didn't finish school. I got kicked out of school, and then when I looked at my options, it wasn't very much. So I thought the rest of my life was going to be this way. So I thought like I had to be just a low-paying job, and it was because the actions that I took in the past. This is not true. The mistakes that you bring on from yesterday to today, that's the mistake. Leaving yesterday's mistake on yesterday and starting today new, and knowing that every possibility is there for you for the grabbing. That's how you're supposed to be living, right? So, and when I realized that my past actions are not dictating my future, that just changed the ball game for me because I knew when everyone seen me lose my business, like I can't remember what it was, or maybe 2014 or something like that. I went through a huge adversity, another business lost. They got bankrupt, and then I didn't get paid, man, just huge amount of money. And when I got taken down, everyone thought, oh, that's over for Waliid. You know what I mean? So it was all like sort of luck. But when that happened to me, within a couple of days, I was emotionally recovered. Like at first day, it was hard, right? It was hard because I paid my mom's house, her bills. I paid for my brother. I paid for 16 other employees. Like these people were there looking at me as I'm the provider, right? And all of that was gone overnight. So I had to recover from this. And when it happened, I thought about it, and that's when I knew I was handing out too much. I was not necessarily. You can't just give too much, but I was giving the wrong gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You weren't actually doing them a favor. You weren't helping them.
No. So you can actually, yeah. It was a hell of a journey. It was just insane. And coming out of that, I just knew that from everything that we do in the past, just dictates how smart we are in the future. Just every single thing is trying to make you a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And truth is, there is no mountaintop. There is no mountaintop that you're going to reach and be like, oh my God, this is it. I'm going to stay here now. You're always going to want to be a little bit better, a little bit, climb a little bit higher, help a little bit more people. And they're going to help a little bit more people, and so on. And when I realized that, I fell in love with that. I was like, man, this is cool. Like, so forever I get to grow, and forever I get to help people, and forever I get to see people change other people's lives because I impacted someone. You know what I mean? I impacted a lot of lives because you impacted mine, right? So, and it actually goes along like this. And well, it's amazing.
It's actually, you lead into one of the questions I want to ask you. I'm going to ask you after the one I'm about to ask, but I'm going to ask you about how you fall in love with your vision, because I love how you put that. It is, because for me, it's like a falling in love experience. So remind me to I'm going to ask that love question next, well, after this one, but I want to follow up on the faith question, which was about, you know, you had to have that ball of faith when no one else really believed in you. They were just saying the best for you, but they didn't, you really felt they didn't believe. You thought, he's just going to come crashing down to earth. So tell me when you felt there was a turning point where, because you always believed, you knew it could happen deep in your heart, but it didn't always materialize that way straight away. So tell me, at what point did other people start believing in you and already agree with that vision? And what was that like for you when they validated what you already could see all along?
And I got a lot of validations. I got a lot of messages from people, like just messaging me, like from my childhood and that, and going, man, I love what you're doing right now. Oh man, like I can see you changing that person's life. Oh man, it's amazing. And I'm like, man, this is what I was trying to say. This is what I was trying to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I remember someone used to tell me, bro, you're not a motivational speaker. Just relax. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I don't want to be a motivational speaker. I'm here to make an impact. Like, I want to give you a strategy for your problem. Like, you have an issue that you're dealing with at the moment, and I want to come to you and be like, right, A, B, C, this is how you follow it, and let's go. Put in the work, I'll teach you, and then we'll achieve it. Simple as that. 100%. I can motivate you by saying something and leave, and you'll go back to your couch. As simple as that.
Yeah, you're not into short-term pump-up motivation. You're like, I'll
No,
leave
no,
that
no,
for the
we're
slick
not there.
salesman. You want to actually make a difference through
We're,
true education and transformation.
exactly. And I see a lot of influencers and a lot of trainers out there selling detox juices and eat these fat loss foods. There is no fat loss foods.
Snake oil.
Okay. Yeah, if you consume over what you're actually eating, what your calories are supposed to be daily, you're simply going to put on weight. It's just
Simple,
simple
right?
as that.
We both know it's a
Yeah,
simple equation. Find your calorie maintenance and fall in love with that number, or increase your
exactly.
exercise, or you know.
Yeah,
But you're right; it's a simple maths equation at the end of the day.
yeah. So when a lot of friends even tell me, give me opportunities, they're like, "Oh, do you want to do this with us or do that with us?" And I can see through it. Sometimes it's just something they want to make money from quickly and get out.
Right, a quick
Right?
fix scheme for them. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not here for that.
I
Right? I'm
love
not.
that. Right.
When I started my fitness training, I wasn't even making money. I was doing it because I just loved it. I was doing fitness classes at the park for nothing, just to build up, show people that I can train you. You know what I mean? And people were like giving me like huge testimonials, like writing on my page, sharing me, and it just started building momentum with them because I was giving as much as I could give. I could show them that I can give them training programs. I could show them exactly what they could eat. I could give them actual value and strategies of that what they needed to do instead of just going, well, give me because I'm a trainer, so you have to give me.
I love that, man. That's amazing. It reminds me of my first job that I really loved. That was in like 80% of my nexus. I remember just serving first. I remember all I did because it was out of my mission and passion. I just served without thought of return. I served without thought of a job. And like after a year of doing that, I got offered a job doing that. So
Yeah.
when you serve out of doing what you love, you make your vocation your vacation. You never have to work another day in your life. So I love what you're saying there. Now I want to turn and ask you this question, the love question, because I love how you put this. And I remember you saying this the other day that it's like you've got to fall in love with your vision. It's like a falling in love experience. And I think the more I've been thinking about it, it's like, yeah, the more I focus on my vision and focus on my purpose and my mission, the more I fall in love with that entire life system and style. So can you speak to that? Like, because that you're the first one I've heard it said like that, which I actually thought was an amazing way you said it. But just explain what you kind of mean by fall in love with your vision, what that means to you, and how you'd like to see that happen in other people's lives.
Um, the easiest way for people to relate to it is I want you to think about a person that you truly were in love with. Okay? A person that you were in love with and you were excited to get home and see them. You were excited to go out for dinner with them. You were excited to talk to them. You were excited to sleep with them. Everything. I want you to think about all the exciting things that person gave to you. And if you were apart from them, you felt anxiety, you missed them, you wanted to be with them. And that's the stage I got with my vision. I loved it. I spent time with it. I perfected it. I changed it. I worked with it. It needed work from me. It needed apply work from me for it to work, just like a relationship, right? Just because I love someone, it doesn't mean I'll do nothing about it and it will be like that forever. So, man, I used to get home. I remember I used to get home or even wake up at 3:30 in the morning and my partner would be in bed at that time. And I'd get up and be like, she'd be like, just stay in bed. Like, just stay in bed, please. And I'm like, I just gotta do something. I gotta do something. So I'd get up, I'd go to my office, I'd get in there, I'd view my vision, I'd look at it, and I'd start getting excited. I'd start feeling my body chemistry like literally change. And I'll get in that mode and start visualizing the details of my vision and what I want to achieve. And then most of the time, I'd feel tears come down my eyes. And it was so powerful because I learned the vision with you and I went along and started reading about it and learning about it. And I learned one thing. You can apply a vision and feel good about it and come out of that and it'll still happen if you put in enough work. But if you put in enough emotion with it, if you mix enough emotion with your vision, oh man, it's so powerful. You'll be in love with that vision forever. Like it'll be implanted in your heart. Like it'll be a seed that'll grow to give you abundance. Like I feel like that vision has gotten me out of the toughest situations, like the toughest circumstances, because I was going through a lot of things in this journey, as you do. And that vision just that feeling of feeling good, of gets me out of there. I'm like, no, 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 this is not it for me. I can go there. I gotta go back there. I gotta achieve this. I gotta do this. And
I kind of feel like what you're saying is, it's instead of a vision that's a lover will still be a powerful vision, but a vision that you make a soulmate is a vision for life. And I feel like a vision with emotions like a soulmate, a vision of the spirit's a soulmate, whereas a vision of just a vision out of a lover is just out of the mind, you know.
100%. I think people get excited when you tell them what you think about is what you attract about, and also if you envision your vision, it's going to happen for you. But you got to look into the details. Okay, you got to look into how does it make you feel. Does it make you feel excited? Let's say, which what we talked about yesterday, I think it was. Let's say you got something you want to achieve. Let's say it's an income or someone you want to be with, but it's going to take some work to do. There's work involved that you must apply. Does that work make you feel excited, or does it give you anxiety and scare you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And I think if you're sitting there and you're envisioning your vision and it's scaring you and you're feeling like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this, then it's probably not right for you. You need to, it needs to excite you. It needs to light a fire under your seat. It needs to get you out of bed. You need to get through it when you're broke. You need to get through it when you've got money. You need to get through it when your relationship is good, when your relationship is bad. It doesn't know rest. It doesn't know it just knows feelings and it knows action. So what you apply is literally what you're going to become.
Amazing, man. Amazing. And I'll touch on another question for you with regard to what you learned at Ignite, which was around the subconscious. Tell me what impact the subconscious course and teachings did for you at a subconscious level when you started to impact that.
Subconscious level, I think, what's the biggest thing? I think for me, it was literally just realizing who I am and what I'm capable of. Being deep with myself and just respecting myself, starting to respect myself, and that was the biggest thing for me. And I was also always externally driven, and consciously thinking, what does that think about me, and who that, etc. But I had to focus on who I am, and that was when I got down to the subconscious to really appreciate myself and be grateful and become a new person. That was just life changing, and what you think about yourself is very important. It's extremely important. If you think you're a loser and you can't achieve anything, you know what? You're right. But if you think you can achieve everything and you're awesome, you can change people's life, you're also right. So
Wow.
which one are you going to choose? So when you tell me something about yourself, I can't tell you you're wrong because that's how you feel about yourself.
Wow.
But you need to change the feelings and the way you feel about yourself, because that's absolutely true. If it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's true. So you need to choose wisely.
Amazing. So it sounds like the biggest thing you got from the subconscious aspect for you was at an identity level. So for those of you who are wondering about the subconscious, we go through multiple layers of the subconscious. One of the most foundational, pivotal parts of the subconscious is your identity level. And if you've got an identity such as I am dumb, or I am useless, or I am a victim, I am, whatever it is, I am fat, I can't change. Well, you're right. And until you learn how to change that foundation pillar of your subconscious, you'll remain the same, because it's one of the deepest levels. Even if you change a belief, you'll change more temporarily. But if you change identity, you can change everything overnight. And that's what you're sort of describing there.
Yeah. And I feel like along the path, as you go through maybe some adversity, you will maybe fall down, as I did. And I did think of myself, oh man, I lost, I failed. But then my identity comes back. Like, it's always in there. It comes back screaming like, no, hell no, this is not it. Like, you're capable of this. Remember doing this. Like, I knew what I was able to do. So I always got myself out of situations. And
Wow.
and I've had places where I've been where people are like, oh man, like this is gonna be bad. Like, how are you gonna get out of this? And I'm sort of sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, it's just gonna be time. Like, time. I'll get through this.
I'm sitting here just so blown away and so humbled and grateful for what you're sharing, because the mission and vision of the night is to the mission and vision of Ignite is to pretty much speak down to the essence of the spirit of the person, to help them realize who they are. Because that, I think, it's stripped away over the years of schooling, parenting, and high school. Even unintendedly, people get taught not to be like this. Don't express that gift. fit in with the crowd, avoid rejection, and all of those things suppress the spirit of who you're called to be, to the point where you become like everyone else. Everything becomes blah and boring, and nothing gets expressed to the true nature that the person needs to express. So the fact that you could just not listen to the outside voices, sink back in, listen to your true identity and become one with that, and rise out of the ashes to pursue your rightful path. I mean, that is just, to me, that's success. I don't care if you're a millionaire, but you don't live out of that level. To me, that's not successful, because we all know them, millionaires, extremely successful people that have committed suicide, that have OD'd, that have gone down paths that aren't fulfilling for them because they weren't one with themselves. So to me, to have ultimate financial success, but not to have emotional, spiritual, and inside success is complete failure. So unless you're living out of your core nexus, then to me, it's not success. So the fact that you've done it this way is just unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a journey you gotta fall in love with, because it takes you ups and downs. It definitely
Awesome,
does.
man. Well, we're going to wrap up this segment of the podcast, and then I'm going to hand over to Waliid to host. Any parting thoughts as we close this section of my interview to you?
That's it, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you do, and I think for every single person that's wanting to achieve something, just fall in love with growing and learning about yourself. Learn about what makes you feel good, what doesn't, and whatever doesn't make you feel good. Have the courage to just remove it, because you deserve to feel good, deserve to live a life good, full of fulfillment. And I think if you live externally, you're gonna make other people feel good, but you're not gonna make yourself feel good. So realize who's important and take the action to remove the wrong people from your life and be happy.
Awesome, bro. We're just going to stop the recording there, guys, for this part of the podcast.